What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony with the Wrenched Out Garage. Thank you for tuning in. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit subscribe, like the video, share it, do all of those things. We appreciate it every time you do it. All right, guys. So if you're unfamiliar with the channel or you haven't been watching any of the recent videos, we have our 2018 Chevy Silverado LT that's going to get kind of a full upgrade to an assortment of things. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is the suspension that I chose to go with in our particular case. Now, there's a lot of options in the market. We'll talk a little bit about that and talk about why we selected what we did. So let's dive into it. Again, we have our 2018 Chevy Silverado, and we've done various things at this point. I've done several unboxing videos of some of the equipment. I've showed you guys the tires, the wheels, and much more. Now it's time for the suspension. Now, suspension is going to play a very large role in these upgrades that we're going to be doing to our truck. Now, there's a lot of options out there. And I'm going to talk you through some of the options that I was looking at. And then, of course, we're going to dive into the products that I actually selected. Now, first and foremost, I was going to go with the Fox Performance 2.0 front and rear shock setup. However, I was having difficulty. I couldn't get it shipped to Alaska for a reasonable price. So I started to shop option 2. Now, option 2, I was looking at some of the rough country higher end stuff. I was looking at some of the Fox higher end stuff. And then through the Facebook forums and everything else, I remembered that the Bilstein 5100 series shocks got rave reviews from everybody. In fact, it is like the go-to when it comes to adding that kind of suspension upgrade to your truck, very cost affordable and everything else. So I started looking at Bilstein. Now, a couple of things to say. My truck is a Z71 package with the Rancho shocks. After I did the lift and I did a couple of other things, it doesn't ride very well at all. Now, if you're intending on doing any kind of leveling kit, if you do a full lift beyond a leveling kit, you're going to have to get shocks anyways. But in my case, I did the MotoFab 2.5 inch in front, 3 in the rear. And since driving after that, getting alignment and all of that, I feel like the shocks suck. So with going with new wheels and tires, going with a bunch of other things, I wanted something that I felt was going to, A, give me a better ride, and then B, when I do go off-road, not that I go crazy off-roading with my truck, but when I do go off-road, I'm going to have the right equipment for it. So I landed on the Bilstein setup that we have right here. I'm going to talk you through some of this. We've got the front 6112s. It did take a little bit of time to get these. This is more or less an unboxing video. I'm not going to install these today, but I did want to show you guys before I did an install so I didn't have to incorporate kind of both of these videos into one. Hopefully saving some time if you guys are interested in this for your truck. Now, one thing you'll notice right out of the gate, this is the 6112. This is a huge shock. This is, I believe it was 67 millimeters, which is a lot larger than what your stock shock is, and you'll see the difference when I pull out the 5160, which is our rear. So on the front, we went with the 6112s. This is, I'm going to show you what comes in the package. So this is essentially the shock. This is how you adjust it. So when you go to adjust the spring on it, you'll just adjust it up these columns if you want to go up or you want the normal ride height. Super heavy duty. This is a heavy shock. The spring that you get with it comes right here. It's in this bag. I'll show you the other one. So it comes with the spring. Comes with a little hardware package, and essentially what this is going to be your lower mount, and I'll show you in a second, and then you're going to get new top bolts. You will have to use the OEM equipment that rides on the top of your spring. Also comes with instructions, so obviously read your instructions. It talks about it, shows you how to put the little seating, the ring on there, don't put it on upside down, how to adjust it. There's the hardware that you're going to need. That's the hardware you're going to need when you go to take off your OEM stuff. Should be pretty straightforward, as I took off essentially this setup when I installed the MotoFab kit, with the exception of dismounting the spring itself, because we're going to reuse the hardware. Now, this is pretty heavy, but essentially it's going to sit just like that. So I raise this one up. It's got the little seat on the bottom, and then you're gonna clamp everything down, put it back into your truck. Should be good to go. This is super exciting for this, because as I've read more and I looked more and more into Bilstein and this kit specifically, I think this is an incredible option if you want to go above the 5100 series, or you want to get into that realm of at or slightly above the Fox 2.0s. This set as a whole set me back over $1,000, not to include shipping, because I did have to pay shipping on some of this, but it wasn't that bad. I am suspecting that it will greatly enhance my performance as far as road feel and ability to, again, take it off-road when I want to, drive it on the highway, be comfortable in both areas, especially with the larger wheels and larger tires that I'm putting on the truck. Now, that is pretty much the 6100 series or 6112 series on the front of it. Again, you get the new spring, the shock, the stuff to mount the lower portion. You're going to reuse the top mounts from your existing vehicle. Now, I did go with the 5160 on the rear. This is essentially the highest setup I could get from Bilstein, and I'm super happy with it. I think that this is going to greatly enhance my ride. So what comes in the 5160? Again, maybe you want to do the 5100 series on the front, adjust yours up, go that route, which is fine. And you don't want to do a 5100 in the rear, and you want to go to a 5160. It's a little bit more expensive, not too bad. It essentially comes in just like this. So you got your external reservoir, you've got your shock, and then it obviously mounts in the same locations that your current one does. And then the mounting hardware looks like this. So you've got some spacers. Actually, I'll open this up. So you got some spacers, and then you got some clamps. Now, this is the only gripe I have at this point, is I feel like Bilstein could have did a lot better than this. So this is it. So this goes between the shock and the external reservoir, and then you essentially hose clamp it. It works. I know reading and watching videos of guys that had that on there, it works fine, but there's a better option, and I'm going to show you guys that. This is, I already put one together just so I could show you guys. This adapter right here, or clamp, is an extra $49. I'll put links to all this stuff down below if you're interested in buying this setup. But to me, not only it's just not kind of janky and goofy looking like this, I'm putting all this stuff on my truck, spending the money that I spent. I feel like they should have included this or made it like a $20 option. There's a $49 option for one. So keep that in mind. So if you want to do this setup like this, add another $100 so you get this nice billet reservoir mount. It's super solid, guys. It's not going to go anywhere. You only need one. I know that some guys put two. I was going to put this on the upper because you'll see it, maybe one of those on the lower. We'll see what happens. I do feel like this isn't going anywhere. And look how clean that looks. I mean, I think that looks beautiful. Now, let me show you guys real quick the differences. So this is your standard shock size. So this is currently the same diameter that's on the Chevy and on most trucks versus what the front's going to get. So if you look at this, I mean, a considerable difference in size, and I'm hoping to obviously, again, greatly enhance the suspension on my Chevy Silverado. Super excited when I get the opportunity to put it on. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, the weather is crap outside. It's been super cold, so I don't want to get out there and install this. At least at this moment, who knows? I might try to back it in, do the back, turn it around, do the front, call it a day. At this moment, I'm not doing that. So the rear does come with instructions as well. Looks like this, just kind of shows you. I have seen, one of the goofy things I have seen is several different variations on how this sits. Essentially what it does say, and I may have to rotate this sideways, we'll see. And what I mean by that is you can see the shock sitting there. The one thing it does say or suggest is that you run the line in kind of this smiley face. So I may rotate this whole thing sideways, at least accordance to the picture, for clearance purposes, I guess. I'm not sure. But you want to run it this way. You don't want to run it up. You don't want to twist it all the way around to where it's having to work to send the stuff over. Super stoked for this. Not only does it look great with the anodized zinc coatings or whatever it is on the outside, I think it looks great. I'm hoping that it functions a lot better than what I currently have, and I'm sure it will. So that pretty much wraps it up, guys. I just wanted to show you my new Bilstein setup that's going to be going on the Chevy Silverado project truck. That thing's coming along very nicely. We've got a lot of parts still coming in for it, and a lot of upgrades as well. We're going to do some quick install videos as we can with those, and that's pretty much it. So again, if you guys have not subscribed, take the opportunity, support us here, especially if you're looking for these kind of products. Please hit the links below. That does support us. We get a very tiny little percentage of the sales off of Amazon, which allows me to use the limited amount of money that I do get from it to buy these kinds of parts and others. It goes right back in to the Wrench Out Garage here, so we definitely appreciate that. And if there's links that you guys, or if you want me to look up links for you, just drop a comment down below. I'd be more than happy to find links that maybe I forgot to put on, or maybe it's an alternative product, because again, it does support us here. I appreciate it, and I'm super stoked to get this on the truck and a lot of the other stuff. So if you guys are out riding or driving, do it safely, and I'll see you in the next video.